here we are.
Oh,
I love it when a plan comes together and an intro comes and lines up perfectly, and then you can go, hey. So hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Dawn from Two Hip Chicks, and my friend over here is, whoops, this way.
TC from TKR VideoCentral, the Kirkham Report.
Welcome, TC. Thank you
Welcome.
again for sharing
Welcome
your time
to everybody
with us.
out there.
Yeah, I know. It's like, hey, we're gonna get some trickle in because I think they just stopped bingo like 5 minutes ago. So we get some trickle in, and people are who like, oh, hey, mom, MKT, Mom Knows Treasures is here. So welcome and thank you for coming in. Yeah, today's topics of interest. First of all, we may lose TC, we may not, because of stormage. So if we lose TC,
you hear an alarm going off in the background. I'm keeping an eye on the radar too. Right now, I think it's sort of diminishing, but yeah, there's severe weather up here. Right
keep
now,
your fingers crossed, kids, because we don't want to lose TC.
Welcome, Stacey May.
Welcome, Stacey May. Yeah, indeed, for sure. Thanks, guys, for coming in. We appreciate you. So, we've talked about many different topics. This is our 8th show. We've covered 7 different topics, plus many more. Right? Is this our 8th show?
I think it's our 8th show, and we've talked about all kinds of things. So
we've talked about many topics. Truly, more than 8 topics.
Sang songs last time.
We went everywhere. So yeah, and some singing was had, and that was just weird. If you guys didn't see the little promo that we put out, please go check it out. I don't know if that's going to bring people in or keep them away.
I don't know. We'll see.
Either way, it could go either way. So anyway, I had fun though, and that was a good time. So there's some controversy going on.
Oh yeah, a lot of big controversy.
There's lots of controversy. Do you mind explaining what we're going to talk about, or what the controversy is regarding vinyl and analog recordings?
There is a company out there that specializes, or supposedly specialized, in all analog recordings, analog transfers, analog to analog remasters and stuff. They're called Mobile Fidelity. They make, in addition to the music they make, they also make sleeves that a lot of people use as their protective sleeves for their records. A couple, 2-3 weeks ago, they kind of got outed when they announced there were going to be 40,000 copies made of an upcoming one-step recording. That's their most expensive recording of Michael Jackson's Thriller. Problem is, you can't make 40,000 copies from one master. You're going to be running the master 40,000 times. And so Mike over at the End Groove and a couple of other people started digging into it and found that there is, oh God, a digital step. And of course, all these people, and then apparently this digital step has been happening in most of their recordings since 2016.
Sure.
They were not upfront about it. They kind of laughed it off when Mike interviewed them about it. But a lot of people are mega pissed about this. And I don't blame them. Now, I don't have any MoFis. All I'm looking for is it to sound good. And 90% of the time, the OGs are fine. Or repressings. Or, record store day versions. I'm not looking for that, super... my equipment isn't high-end enough to get all the good stuff out of that. But there are people in the community... Melinda Murphy, probably the best known of all the people who talks a lot about her MoFi collection, that have are understandably upset. And so it's been dubbed MoFi Gate by the vinyl community. And what they're doing is they're going analog, digital, analog, when everybody thought they were going analog, analog, analog.
Right.
Analog is vinyl recording or tape recordings. Digital is all digital recording. Now, most CDs you see it these days, and mostly everything you get online is all digital. So, people there were those kind of audiophile snobs we've talked about that were out there. Oh, I could tell digital from I know an analog from digital. So what do you mean there's digital? There's no digital on that. I don't hear any digital. They're out there in denial and they're having fun with it. There aren't that many of them doing that. Most of them are like, well, maybe digital isn't so bad. But what the company did was still not very upfront. And I agree with that. People have been freaking out.
So, yeah, and it's mostly people who feel that there is a definite difference between the sound quality and the
Mhm.
range and everything from analog to digital. So they
Yep.
feel if that digital steps put in there, it's taken away from the analog quality, which it's possible. Most of us can't hear it. I will honestly say. I mean, I got a pretty good ear when it comes to music, and
Yeah.
I probably couldn't tell you for sure whether or not it was, and if it was a problem. But
People claim that vinyl is warmer, analog recordings are warmer and more rich, and digital is very sparse and um, almost hollow.
right.
But a lot of that is simply a bias for one affinity for one or the other.
And I
It
also feel like it might end up being arguable as well as where the analog or digital falls in the three-step process, right?
Yeah,
So, like, if you're starting out with a digital copy and you run it to analog and then run it to analog again, you're going to have a warmer sounding digital. I mean, you've got that question in there. So,
Robert Fithen, who's a DJ in St. Louis and a big member of the vinyl community, brought up a really good question on this. Back in 1985 or 84, the first all digital album, what would have been on a CD, the little code would have been DDD on the back,
yeah,
came out with Dire Straits' Brothers in Arms.
yeah,
It was all digital. It sounded rich. It sounded polished. And so people are freaking out, even though they knew at the time. They're claiming that the vinyl version that was done years ago by this company. Um, so you were going from digital to vinyl in that case, and it was known
hmm
is actually warmer and stronger, and yet there isn't any really way for that to happen because the master was digital to begin with.
right.
So a lot of it is in perspective, I think.
Trina's got. Remember when Neil Young tried to make a player that was supposed to be rich, warm,
Yeah,
digital thing?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's come up in the discussions also. Trina,
yeah.
welcome on board, and to Sharon, who's also here,
Yep,
and
welcome.
the other
So, for those
people.
of you who don't understand what we're talking about, an analog recording um, is either tape or vinyl, right? It is in its nature naturally going to be worn or wear out eventually from multiple use.
Yes.
So you're running tape across tape heads, there's wear there. You're running
Yep.
a needle in a groove, there's wear there. So you can
Yep.
only you can only play it so many times. I mean, it'll be a lot, but you can only play something so many times in succession and have it sound as good as it sounded the first time you played it. Um,
Exactly.
Depending on the quality of it. So
Mhm.
they're making the reason that they're, like they're saying, the reason that they question it is because you can't make hundreds or thousands of copies of something and not have a digital step in there. You'll ruin your master, or you'll ruin your your secondary copy or whatever. So thus the reason this came up in the first place. But yeah, to do true analog, three-step analog from the master to the finished recording to the actual recording you get a copy of, you're going to have um, some wear in the process if you just
Right.
stick with straight
Because
analog.
analog means recording to recording tape, magnetic
Yep.
recording tape, and digital means recording to a magnetic hard drive. The difference
Yeah.
is that people have said that the digital signal is not as easy, does not deteriorate the same way,
Right.
which has been proven that that's not true in some cases, depending on how
Depends.
many
Yeah.
copies have been made. But
Yeah.
if you're doing the analog, the master tapes that we've talked about here, um, the reason so many artists make a big deal about owning their master tapes is so they can prevent them from being used over and over again to release music that they don't approve of, and that with each successive use will sound a little degraded more.
Right. So Mary's got a question. How before digital, how did they make multiple copies of music and then without losing quality? They'd make a secondary master or
They
whatever.
make a stamper. They make a secondary master, and they use that to make the stampers, which molded which are putting the grooves directly into the vinyl. Now, when it comes to the technical aspects of that, I have no clue. I'm not an engineer. All I know is I hear music when I put a little needle in a little groove and it plays something. I'm like,
well,
wow,
I think the
it's
way,
magic.
it's magic. Well, because of the one step, I believe is
Mhm.
where it comes in. They're
Yeah.
taking out that extra step of having a second pressing copy, I guess you call it, and they're supposed to be cutting each one from the secondary master or the the finished master, and that's why.
Right. Yeah. The one
So
step thing is just crazy because they charge quite a bit of money for those one steps, upwards of $120. So it's
yeah,
like for one album. I mean, the MoFis themselves these days are running $79, $89 just for the regular one. For the one steps, it's even more expensive. As I said, I don't get into those. I have never.
yeah.
I don't
Well,
see the
I'd like
need.
to be able.
For some people,
Yeah.
if I had like $3,000, $5,000 setup, then maybe I would notice it. But as it is, because I use headphones most of the time and my speakers are, just bookshelf speakers, but more than
Mhm.
adequate for me, I don't worry about it. But some people swear by them, and they have openly said they sound better, they sound better quality,
Oh, I'm sure they're wonderful,
and now
but
they're wondering whether or not they can ever trust mobile fidelity again.
probably not. It
And every
probably
other one.
won't. It won't affect. I don't think of prices on original vintage records. Do you think she's asking if it'll affect the prices on original vintage records, being that they
Um,
were actually analog?
Probably not.
I don't
Um,
see it doing that either.
I think that everybody seems to be of the opinion that the prices for MoFis are going to have to drop considerably now that people are aware that there's a digital step involved. Um,
Well, they certainly can't
Considering last time
justify.
I checked it over the weekend when I did my last episode of the Kirkham Report, they hadn't even acknowledged the controversy on their website. And this is, considering the thousands of people, Billboard has now brought it up.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to ignore it much longer. So it's like you've got to get out there and be proactive about what you're doing. Otherwise, earning that trust back from the collectors is not going to be possible.
I think they got greedy, and I think part of the fact that they weren't talking about that digital step in the first place was
Right.
that they were banking on the fact that I've got a full digital or full analog pressing of this. It is worth the money because it is very fragile, right? Your original master of that is fragile. We can
Yeah.
only make so many copies of it, and you're going to get one that's 1-to-1. So
Yeah.
it's going to be worth 100 and whatever you're going to pay for it because
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
now people know there's that digital step in there, and you might as well buy a 180 gram pressing up from wherever.
I've seen a number of collectors say that they've had OGs that sound better than the MoFis.
Mhm.
Some people, and particularly Beatles fans, have come out and said they would much prefer the original pressings or later repressings
Yeah.
of a couple of Beatles albums and a couple of the McCartney solo albums over the MoFi because they felt the MoFi squished stuff too much.
And that might
The
be the
quality.
digital step, right?
And again, well, either that or it's just the way that they mastered it.
Yeah.
When they redid it, it wasn't mixed in the same process.
Mhm.
It can be. There's any number of factors there,
Yeah.
and wherever it goes, who knows where this is going to end up?
I don't think
This
it's
is
going to
really
affect current. I
ridiculous.
don't think it's going to affect the vintage vinyl that's out there, though. I really
No, the
don't think
vintage vinyl should be safe, although prices continue to go up. And yes, it was. That was one of the biggest crimes ever, and
That's
Universal
crazy.
losing so many artists in that fire, and a lot of movies too, not just art music. It was a lot of master tapes, a lot of originals for movies went up in that Universal fire in 2009, I think it was.
Big loss.
It was insane.
Big loss. So yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot missing now, unfortunately.
yeah,
So yeah, that's the big controversy, and if you're curious about like when CDs came out, they and back in the 80s, I don't know if they do that much anymore, but they put a code like this one was from KTEL, so please with a lump of or a
well,
little
that
bit of
doesn't matter. All of them did it. So
yeah, so they did it. So this is like analog, digital. So that's what we're talking about, like the 3-step process to get it to your final format, and the final format here is digital. That
right.
makes
So in
sense.
that case, the ADD meant analog recording, analog master, digital release.
Right. So yeah, but you could get full on digital, which was cool. I think who was it? It was like a I remember getting a full digital copy of something, which I thought was great at the time. It was like Herb, or no, not Herb Albert, Don. I want to say Glenn Miller. They did a full. I think Dave Grusin produced a full-on digital Glenn Miller's best, whatever,
Yeah.
and it really sounded good because of course previous copies of that we had were horrible 78s and things, and they did a full-on remake of it. So I think it's good and bad.
The other thing that we could bring up as far as the original OGs go, and you'll probably understand this, Don, because like me, you are a massive Carpenters fan.
Yeah.
If you go back and listen to the original releases, the OG pressings or the early repressings of most of the Carpenters, you will realize they sound completely different sometimes on the CD and on the digital file. And the reason that isn't because of the mastering, it's because of the remastering.
Yep.
Richard went back after Karen died and has remastered their entire output over the years, remixed stuff, re-recorded stuff, redid stuff. The songs that were on the radio, like Rainy Days and Mondays, 1971, you listen to the original one and you listen to the version that's on.
That's different.
From the top or one of the collections, it sounds slightly different. The separation's different. And that's done because they're remixed when they did the masters. And that doesn't always help things. Remixing can be a major pain in the butt.
I understand your grief, Richard, but please stop messing with the music. It's the way I feel about it. You know, it's like, yeah, and then there's multiple like greatest hits or whatever. The most recent
thing he did, which I actually really loved, was Carpenters with the London Philharmonic. He took a lot of their original tracks, went over, conducted the Philharmonic himself, rewrote the arrangements. They played it, mixed Karen's original stuff into it. The results were outstandingly well done, and they don't sound as remixed as some of the earlier CDs. So obviously, he went back and used the original recording.
I think I need to get a copy of that. I don't think I have that.
I don't have it either. I've listened to it on Spotify. It's phenomenally good.
Okay.
It's terrific.
Yeah. So I guess the remixes, that's a whole nother story. Do you guys have any favorite remixes of things that you grew up with? Because I know that they also, as far as what?
So I was just thinking, half of today's stuff
is remix.
Are hits that are old that have been remixed and redone by some of these really cool like DJs and stuff.
Sampled, dang it! That's sampled.
Some of them, like just last year, Snow's Informer was back on the chart in a new remix. That there was like 8 different remixes on the CD, and he came back in and did some new vocals for it and did a whole bunch of stuff, and it was really good. Just like the Donna Summer stuff that came out 2018, which was almost a decade after her passing. They took the original tracks and remixed them, and they were terrific. It all depends on what's done with them,
Welcome, Michelle Noel and Johnny, both coming in.
Hey guys, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for coming in. I want to make sure I'm not missing any. Here we go. Artists rarely think their output is adequate, always thinking it could be. Yeah, sometimes
that's part of the problem.
That's why I don't put out half as many videos as I'd like to, because I'm always worried about, did I get it right? So yeah, I understand that.
Today's artists are especially aware of that too. If you look at there's a few acts that I like that do and have started their career since they were able to do it themselves, all on their home computer. They have the programs to do it, a GarageBand or whatever they use. And they will take one song and they will release it. Back when it started, it was on MySpace. Later, it was, YouTube and, so on and so forth. But a lot of that music has been remixed. You want to do it or do you want me to do it?
Go ahead.
A lot of those
have, to be nice to you, not
artist has taken, that song and like, hey, I'm going to try this with it and I want to try that with it. This is where an act I like called the Ready Set. They're also known as Only Child. Love Jordan Witzegruder's music. He does terrific stuff, but he inherently tinkers with stuff. He has one, Young Forever, which I played a few months ago on Obscuria, which was the last big hit he had about 10 years ago. He's got like 18 different mixes of that thing. And I'm like, why do you do that? You don't need to do that.
Because he can.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It's because they can. They're always tinkering. Owl City, another one. Adam Young, always taking older stuff and going
I
in.
like Owl City. Yeah,
I love Owl City.
They'll drive you crazy.
They were great live. They were terrific live. We saw them at the House of Blues up here a few years ago.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Oh, Boston, I just want to hug you all. he was a character. He's a character, but they were great.
He likes fireflies. Let's just put that. So, do you think somebody's going to come out? Maybe the future is people coming out with an album of their best remixes. I mean, as far as like one song remixed 12 times or whatever.
They already do that. They've done that since the late 90s.
When a full album of just one song.
Oh yeah, I have the ready sets. Several of theirs where there's like 7 or 8 versions of the song. Usually it's a CD single, but it's not it's not a full album, but it's usually an EP.
I have to cross off my list of great ideas. Somebody's already done it. Damn.
Yeah. Well, that's how Pitbull makes his living, just stealing other music artists and getting them involved. And then, kind of using their melody and putting this silly rap in the middle and thinking, oh, hey, it's a big hit from Pitbull. What a phony. Sorry, can't stand the guy.
Sometimes I don't recognize. Yeah. Exactly.
Totally. That's exactly the right. Exactly what we're talking about here. Yeah.
It's like I've listened. You hear a song and you're like, I think I know this song, but it doesn't quite sound right. No.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, when you think about the fact that sampling is now, they now make deals for it, but back when it first caught on, they tried to forget that the original artists weren't even there. And so they had to, like when Good Vibrations by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch came out, he didn't want to, they were up front about Loretta Holloway singing it and they licensed it, but then they got her to actually come in and redo it. So that was cool. But before that, Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight's been sampled in 80 million things, and there's all kinds of lawsuits over that, and it still happens all the time because sometimes
Patrick, we
get away with it.
We were kind of talking about that, but then we got onto sampling next. Yeah, well, wasn't it like? I mean, I remember. What do I want to say? I forgot the end now. I've totally blown my mind. Okay, hold on. I'll come back with it. So, but there's been where you see a video of someone singing the high notes or whatever, the female part, for rappers or for different groups, dance music mostly. And it's not the woman it's not the voice of the person who's actually on the track. It's not that person's face. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You're putting in some beautiful skinny woman and there's some big woman in the background singing the actual song.
Talking about the Martha Wash controversy here.
Possibly.
Back in 1991, I'm totally
you're gonna have the brain fart I had trying to think of it.
I can't remember the name of the song.
Everybody dance
now. They put a black box. That's what it was. Black box. Everybody dance.
Oh, was that black box?
They put this.
CNC.
It might have been CNC.
It was CNC for that one. For Everybody Dance with CNC.
It was Snap. No, that was a power.
Black box.
I didn't like any of them, but it's like I do. I'm just kidding. CNC Music Factory put this wonderful, beautiful, extremely skinny model out front in their videos, and Martha Wash, who did the vocals, and Martha Wash was just
not a skinny girl
for a group called 2 Tons of Fun, later known as the Weather Girls, who did It's Raining Men.
I love that.
She called them out for it, and good for her.
I don't blame her. Yeah,
it pissed her off, and they did it. 2 or 3 different acts did it to her. Yeah. They would take her vocal, and then they would put this svelte, skinny model in the video, and it's like, what the hell? Do you realize you have one of the best vocalists of all time in your studio doing the vocal on this song? I mean, it's just like crazy.
Well, Milli Vanilli all over again, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah, don't even get me started on Milli.
It's Milli Vanilli all over again.
That was an act I never liked from the beginning, and so when it came out that they were lip syncing, I wasn't terribly disappointed.
No, I wasn't either. I didn't go get my money back. I didn't buy their album. That's why.
No.
I had a tape, but that was about it. Patrick saying this is weird because just this weekend, I was watching Anchorman 2, and I heard a lot of big energy melody. Stop the movie because Anchorman 2. Okay. I'll be damned. See?
Okay.
Dance. It just could have happened that way.
Oh, it makes Kim crazy
because Sylvester too.
Yeah. I'm a period. I get period nuts. Whenever there's a period movie out there and they have the wrong songs in it, it drives me up the wall.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, right now,
it's like you can't. That song didn't come out for 3 more years.
Exactly.
Thing, right?
That's exactly what I mean. The movie set in 1992, and yet this song didn't come out till 96. What the hell are you using? Do your research, man. Give me a call. I'll tell you. For Pete's sake, here.
They want to use that song because it fits so perfectly.
I don't care. Use the right song. Call TC 555-1212.
Exactly. And of course, nobody cares. The rest of the audience doesn't care. It's like, cool song. They don't know. Their brain doesn't work that way. You're the one. You're the guy. It's your brain.
I'm the chart fanatic. I mean, even when I'm watching, when I go through, occasionally MeTV will run these top 10 hits, blah, 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 blah. And I will go through and meticulously look at everything they have. And then in the comments, well, let's see, you didn't do this right, blah, blah, blah. This actually hit this number on the chart. That kind of thing makes me nuts. I'm anal when it comes to the chart stuff. I always have been.
I know, but you're like you said, your brain works that way. But most people, we're pointing at me now, being most people, girl.
Oh, sorry, Mary.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My brain, cool song. I remember that song. That's great. And the fact that it doesn't align with the timeline doesn't bother me at all.
Oh, it makes me nuts. I am
a puppy dog. Okay, I'm a dog. My dog brain says, "Oh, cool, we're going outside." Today is the best day every day kind of thing.
Some people, some directors really try to get it right. James Gunn has hit it right on the nose with the music from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and with the Suicide Squad that he's got upcoming or just had out or whenever it was. And they used older music, and that's fine because when that movie's technically set in the future, it's okay to use those older songs.
Right.
And that I have no problem with. But when you've got a movie set in 1972 and you're playing More by Andrea True, which came out in 1976, that's not gonna, it doesn't ring well with me, and it pisses me off. It's sloppy research is what it is.
Time machine. There's a time machine involved somewhere. It's an alternate universe where that song came out 4 years earlier.
Sure. Goldberg. Side with them. Fine. Just side with them. Be that way.
I'm not siding. I'm Switzerland when it comes to this. I don't know. Yeah. Sorry.
Patrick, I actually don't watch the Goldbergs, so I don't really know what they do, but I know they use a lot of stuff that they probably shouldn't because they're set in the 80s. So
oh yeah.
I don't do a lot of the sitcoms anymore. I just gave up on them years ago.
I was thinking I'm going to be watching a movie with TC anytime soon.
Yeah.
At least that one with good music.
MKT, Dirty Dancing, a lot of the stuff that they had was period, but the songs that they did use that weren't period were not supposed to be a part of that period. They were laid in over like an overlay type thing. So that kind of stuff doesn't bug me.
So you're saying they weren't music played.
I've had the time of my life was like is a theme, so it wasn't really supposed to be the period. It's supposed to be the overview of the movie. Okay. So
I think most of the other one, like She's Like the Wind, was the one that was but that was what played over the film as they were like dancing and moving or doing, but it wasn't like they were listening to that song. So
right, exactly. Overlay is fine. Don't be pretending it's on the radio.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I got a thumbs up on that one. Episode where the main plot is Transformer 1986 movie subplot. Patrick has another one of those brains. It's just like, no, it's not right. If it pulls you out of the suspension of disbelief, it's bad, right? It ruins it for you. I get that. That.
I mean, I try not to. I mean, my wife and I have done a movie podcast for 15 years. We haven't done it since the pandemic started, but but we've done it for 15 years before that. And so I'm tolerant. I will watch a movie and not let it ruin it, but I'm constantly bitching afterward. They used the wrong song and the year was wrong and blah, blah, blah. Oh, will you shut up? Honestly, it's like, okay. So yeah, I'm just kind of, like I said.
Did he lip sync it at the end? She's saying Swayze lip synced part of it in the final scene, though.
Maybe I haven't
look at it.
Never seen Dirty Dancing all the way through, so
I have to go back now and look at it. Thank you. I will check that out because I don't remember. It was time travel. There you go. Yeah, I don't know.
It's all in the perception, though. Not everybody's gonna be like Mary said. She probably wouldn't want to watch a movie with me right now. That's fine, Hey.
Well, no, I mean, not if you're going to get all radical. Oh, up in arms about it, probably not.
Radical? Me? Radical? Never.
Oh, that part. Okay, I'm going to go back and check it out too, though, because I don't remember it. I can't visualize it. It's been forever since I saw Dirty Dancing, and I never really saw the remake, so don't hate me. What? But okay. So excited to see y'all. Oh, hey, Lauren. Welcome. If the music goes with the mood of the movie, I'm good. There you go. We're not, we won't be watching it. Yeah, there you go. TC,
one of the best movies to use older music as part of its soundtrack that is actually using older music from recent older music is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. It's set in 92 or 93. Most of the music they use is from the 80s. So that fits perfectly with what they did. It was it's a fantastic movie. My all-time favorite, actually. One of them, at least.
Cool. So, do you guys have any, I'd love to hear from the chat. Do you guys have any movies that had music in them that really kind of made it for you or broke it for you? You know what I mean? As far as the soundtrack made the movie or the soundtrack tore the movie, it would have been a great movie if it had a different soundtrack. I'd love to see those too. And did you get any comments from our last show that we needed to talk about? People asking questions or anything?
I didn't see anything, no.
Okay. Just checking. I don't want to ignore people if they had something. It was on your channel. That's your thing. There you go.
It was. I didn't see any comments come through on it. So
okay, cool.
And believe me, I have been in and out of the comments constantly for the past day or two because I got all these new entries coming in on my subscriptions contest. And thank you everybody who was nice enough to subscribe to my channel because I've just exploded in the last week and a half. So
very cool. Hey, you deserve it, man. You got good content. You got really good content. And I think you do, and it just
making lots of new friends, lots of people I've never had on the channel and never heard of. I've found a bunch of new sites because of it. So, and my subscription list has gone way up from like under 290 to 340 or something like that in the last few days. So,
92. I think that's a temperature. Is it talking weather? I'm not sure. Love Bob Seger's songs in The Mask, and many years later learned that. Yeah, I remember that too. Springsteen was meant to be Springsteen. So the true story of The Mask, the kid who was affected by that condition, Bruce Springsteen was his main source of inspiration, and kind of helped him get through the hard times. But they couldn't afford Springsteen.
Yeah.
So they used Bob Seger, and I think the mother was very pissed about that. The mother of the boy.
Yeah,
so she made a big deal about it. It's like he wouldn't listen to Springsteen or to Seger.
Yeah. No, that's how Hollywood is. They demand all these exorbitant rights fees, which is why so many good movies, which when they first hit home video had songs completely changed out. Biggest hit off of Fast Times at Ridgemont High was Somebody's Baby by Jackson Brown's nowhere to be found in the video version because he wouldn't license it for it.
Nice. Yeah, that happens.
So it's like, that's just insane. Instead, they have We Got the Beat by the Go-Go's playing where it would normally play. So it's like,
all right. Lion King. Yeah, I like Lion King. Very good music.
Lion King has great music, yeah. Singles, also great music. I have not seen the movie, but I'd have the soundtrack. which is odd because I'm not normally a big grunge fan, but it has some good stuff on it.
The aforementioned 1986 Transformers movie soundtrack. Yeah, there you go. We knew that one. Down it goes. Now, I didn't realize the director recut that, so that's cool.
I think some of the most popular Urban Cowboy, great example, MKT, Urban Cowboy. That, again, that's another movie I've never seen all the way through, but that soundtrack is stupendously good.
Yeah,
country and country rock made huge stars out of Johnny Lee and gave Mickey Gilley a couple of pop hits, which he'd never had before.
Yep.
And all because of John Travolta and Deborah Winger. So, what the heck?
Hey, make it happen. It's been a long time since I've seen that film, too. A long time.
I think a score is also important when it comes to making a good movie. Sometimes a movie does not have the right score with it. So if you don't have a good score, you're not going to have a good movie.
They get better about that. I mean, they do get better about that. They have in the past. Some of the older films, older movies, their scores were horrid to me. Most of them. Some were great. I mean,
some of the 50s.
Gone with the Wind was a great score, right? Yeah. It had a great score. But some of the ones, that.
I mean, I could listen to the score for Star Trek: The Motion Picture anytime because I love Jerry Goldsmith's music for that. Mm-hmm. But I was not that fond of the music that James Horner did for number 2 and number 3. It was okay, but I didn't buy the score album again until the 4th movie. So it was, that's great. And then Michael Giaccino, who is one of the fastest rising composers out there. I heard his score for Speed Racer, and I have been a huge fan of his ever since. Even if I don't see the movie, I probably bought the score.
I heard that was a good sound. Yeah, I heard it was. I've heard a lot of good stuff about that score.
Speed Racer? Speed Racer's a great score. Great movie. I don't care what anybody says. I love that movie. I was never a fan of the anime. I love the movie.
Stevie Nicks' Sleeping Angel. I'll have to check that out. I don't think I've heard that one. Never saw it. Oh, yeah.
Yep. 80s Motown, 60s Motown classic on that Big Chill. Always huge.
Yeah, that was like a warm hug for me because that's the music I grew up with. Was the Motown, basically. A lot of Motown stuff.
Yeah.
Magnolia
got great reviews from the critics for the score.
Yep.
Amy Mann did a great songs, and Eddie Vedder's soundtrack from what was the name of that? Into the Wild? Emil Hirsch? I can't remember the name of the movie.
Into the Woods?
No, it was it was a true story. I can't remember what the name.
Here's one song better than the movie or soundtrack. Ultraviolet, Gem 24. Terrible movie.
There's a lot of great movies that have great soundtracks from terrible movies.
A lot of great soundtracks for terrible movies is what I'm thinking. Okay, there's a few soundtracks that I love, but the movies were Xanadu was one of them.
Xanadu is a fun movie, but it's not a masterpiece.
Great movie.
The soundtrack is phenomenal.
Yes.
Kim loves the ELO side, and I love the Olivia Newton-John stuff, and I love the ELO stuff too. But Xanadu was a great album, and the movie was a great album. Same can be said for Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. The re-recordings they did of the music for the movie are fine. I don't have a problem with, Aerosmith, Earth, Wind & Fire, Bee Gees, Peter Frampton. It's when you have to watch them in the movie that makes it excruciating. Because that movie is not good.
The one with the Bee Gees, right? Yeah, that one. Yes. Yeah, no.
We watched that for our Bad Musicals Masochistic March one year. That was one of the ones we did. Bad Musicals, and Sgt. Pepper was one of them. I've always kind of liked it as a guilty pleasure. I thought Kim was going to tear her hair out.
Oh. John Goodman in Speed Racer?
John Goodman plays Pops. Great job.
I have to watch it, obviously.
You need to see Speed Racer on the biggest possible screen you have. It is an amazing piece of work from the Wachowskis, and it's 90% green screen shot. So, it's amazing when you see it.
Well, what I remember from the anime,
IMAX, and it's phenomenal.
It would have to be, unless it's, I don't know, an introspective moody movie. I don't think it's going to have a lot of action, for sure. Holy High. Wait a minute. Holy High, if you're familiar with that.
I have
movie.
never seen that one all the way through either, but I have heard most of the soundtrack.
Making lists. Boogie
Nights has got a great soundtrack. Again, neither Kim or I cared for the film, but we did love the music from the movie. So
yeah,
it has
guys, if you're just in, we're talking
so that's got to be good.
Sorry, if you're just in, we're talking about movie soundtracks that we either loved or killed the movie horribly. Dead. Boogie Nights. Jackie Brown.
Yes, Trina, Speed Racer 2008, starring Emile Hirsch. Check it out.
It's out there on DVD somewhere.
Yeah. And in fact, it has received a more renaissance of late, where the critics who ripped it apart when it came out have now decided it's not that bad. In fact, it's kind of fun. So
there you go.
I could recommend a whole bunch of crazy indie films that have great scores or soundtracks too that nobody's ever heard of. So because that's part of one of the things I got into was indies when we were doing the podcast. But I mean, looking for the movie and trying to find the soundtrack would probably be impossible at this point. So
anybody out there? There's another question. First of all, either you have to like a musical or you don't. A lot of people just don't like musicals at all. But is there any movie musicals that you guys keep falling back to? And they don't make musicals as much as they used to, mind you. So let's go there. But they can either have music in them, I guess, or be actual musicals. What is your favorites? Favorite or not so favorite?
Musicals, as in actual musicals?
Well, I suppose you could say Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, but that's not my favorite.
Yeah.
I do. Well, let's see. Victor Victoria was one of my favorites, and I would consider that a musical.
That's sort of musical.
Yeah, it's a sort of musical because she's performing numbers on stage.
Performing numbers on stage for a woman pretending to be a man, pretending to be a woman.
It's a great.
It's a great movie. Great. Absolutely great film. We both love it. It's awesome.
It's very. And the score is very period. It's French period, so it's kind of cool. But
yeah. Oh yeah. I love Lead Jazz Hot. One of my favorite songs to come out of a musical of all time. Great number. And Julie Andrews was never better in anything. She's just terrific.
Her voice is amazing, or it used to be, I should think, because right now it's not. But...
You're blurring on me. I'm sorry. You kind of went there for me for a second.
Did I burr on you?
Yeah. It's okay now. It sounds like.
I think I jittered for a minute. Hold on.
Could be.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drop YouTube. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
West Side Story was one of mine. Have
you seen the new one?
Not yet.
No, I haven't seen. I haven't seen neither one of them, so I was kind of waiting to see. Kim is always like, I'm not really interested, so we've never watched it. But yeah.
Oh.
I think I love Grease, particularly the movie. I will qualify in the.
Stuck in a groove with this. I think Patrick's favorite movie is the Transformers.
Well, somehow that fits Patrick, don't we think? Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I can qualify that I love Rent the musical. I'm not terribly fond of the last half of Rent the movie because they cut out a bunch of important stuff that I was not happy about. I've seen the play 4 times.
It got. I think it was just they ran out of time.
Yeah, and I don't think they knew how to do it. So I'm like, okay. I thought it would be good because I like Chris Columbus as a director, but I was disappointed that they cut certain things out that I felt were absolutely essential to the plot. And so I'd much rather see the stage play or the recording of the stage play rather than actually watch the movie. Now, Kim loves the movie too, but I mean, it has most of the good stuff, but Rent, if you've never seen it, is just phenomenal good.
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoyed it. That's how I got introduced to it. I never saw the stage play, but I did see the movie first. So I'm like,
they actually have Rent on stage available on video.
Very cool.
So they showed it at Fathom Events thing, and it was with the final cast of the original Broadway run, and it was really well done. We were really impressed.
Chicago. That's a good one. Good soundtrack.
I enjoyed that. We watched that.
Funny
that
Girl.
was good.
Yeah, we got a couple votes for Grease, for sure.
Grease is great.
Okay, here we go. What's the difference between Bing Crosby performing on stage, for example, in a movie, and Julie Andrews doing it in Victor Victoria? What's the difference? I'm not
I'm not quite sure what you mean, Mary.
Bing Crosby's performing on stage, for example, in the movie. Oh, because Bing Crosby did perform. I don't know. Are you talking about like White Christmas or something, where they dressed up as the female singing leads to do a number on stage? I don't know. Maybe that's what she's talking about. I'm not sure. Thank you for coming on in and shouting out. We appreciate you. Yes. Oh, okay. Yes. We'll get a yes out of her. So yeah, I don't know. Some like it hot. What's the difference between that and the same thing?
Yeah.
It's performing for comedy, I guess. The difference is the difference could be if a woman is trying to perform as a man, they are looked down on for trying to rise above their station in life, I believe. And a man doing it for comedy is fine as long as he's not living that lifestyle. I don't know. Like, that's a deep, deep ass question that I can't answer. Thank you.
That is really
my wife.
What? Oh boy. Yeah.
I'll remember that. Some movies have like the one song or the one scene with the song, like Valley of the Dolls or Ghost. Oh yeah, there you go. That one song that just
you have all those. There's
remembers.
Practically every movie from the 1960s that's ever been featured on Mystery Science Theater 3000 has a scene either set at a beach or at a dance with a band singing really bad music. And so you can see that all over the place in the 60s. You know, the same song over and over again. You know, it's
Beach
like
Party Zombie or whatever. Yeah, there you have it.
Horror of Party Beach, and
yes,
on the same bill with the Creeping Terror. Is White Christmas a musical? I think it is, of sorts. Yeah,
it is, because they sing. Although they're performing on stage, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. I thought she was going for the man dressed as a woman thing, not the just Bing Crosby on stage singing thing. It's a musical because, or it kind of falls into that area because, well, I'm trying to think. No, even in White Christmas. Damn it. They were on stage in the first part of it too. I was gonna say, well, were they in the war? Were they singing to the general or whatever? They were still on stage, so forget that. Never mind.
Yeah, she has a point. If White Christmas is a musical, Victor Victoria is a musical. Because I would call it a quasi musical because there's a lot of comedy and stuff outside, and there's not a lot of songs. Like Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, it has songs in it. Is it a musical? It depends on how you look at it.
Really? Bless Your Beautiful Hide?
Well, it's been ages since I saw it, so
okay, I guess if they're dancing and singing any other time,
do they break into song in the middle?
Stage, it's a musical.
Yeah, do they break into song like Elvis used to do? Then it's a musical. Yeah,
that's a musical.
If they're performing on the front, it's kind of a musical review type thing, I guess. I think they all fall into musicals either way. So
I'm ready to let her to Daddy from Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Ooh. Ooh. There you go. Who's Michael? Michael! There you are. Hello, darling. Welcome. We're talking about favorite musicals and movies and things. We were talking about the analog to digital to analog conspiracy. They're trying to squeeze digital into everything.
Don't go there.
So that's what you missed. But other than that,
you're getting even more people pissed off. Conspiracy. Go for it.
We decided to move to a safer topic, and at least it's more universal, which is which musicals do you or do you not like?
And which soundtracks were really great and which ones sucked.
And which ones, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there you have that. But
we know Patrick's favorite soundtrack of all time is the Transformers movie from 1986.
Yeah, that's it. End of story. Move along. Nothing more to see here. For sure. No, but what are there any new musicals besides remakes of old musicals going on right now? Can you think of any?
Good Lord.
West Side Story, like you said. I mean, the last truly original musical I saw, unfortunately, was Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah.
Well, they do TV movie musicals, like
Yeah.
2 episodes of shows that have been
Right.
musical. But
I mean, that was a unique and an original musical.
Yeah,
Which was an episode of, if you guys don't know, it's called Once More with Feeling. It was an episode in season, yeah, I don't know, 4 or 5 anyway. So there's that. The Greatest Showman. Hey, there you go. Angry Otter comes in with
yeah,
a win.
yeah.
That's true.
They,
And
lately, there haven't been. I mean, they did. Chicago's fairly recent that was never made into a film before, and they never made Nine into a film before, and that kind of bombed. So I think they kind of pulled. Oh man, Trina, you did not just go there.
no, no, that was before Buffy.
Oh my God! One of the
rest.
true boneheads of Stephen Bochco's career.
Please rest very quietly. Oh my God, Glams! Meet Me in St. Louis, my personal fave. Very good one. True that.
It does.
Yes.
To answer your question, it does seem like a lot of the musicals that are coming, even on Broadway now, are musicals based on earlier movies or musicals that are jukebox musicals based on a career. Michael Jackson, Donna Summer, Aretha Franklin. There's been there is a Broadway, Elton John. Wow, did they do it? I don't think Rocket Man ever made it to the stage, but it did make it to the screen. There is a Broadway musical version of Empire Records in the works. It was supposed to premiere in time for its 25th anniversary, and then 2020 happened.
Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia, yeah. And Here You Go Again, which was actually an original for film. So,
Moulin Rouge, there you go. Yeah, Moulin Rouge pretty much brought it back.
And that's another example of a jukebox musical where they took other, hit songs and meshed them in. Across the Universe, Julie Taymor's Beatles homage, which was just fantastic. I'm an average Beatles fan. I'm not a fanatic like so many of the VC is, but I loved that movie. I thought it was a lot of fun and really well done and great Beatles music. Although Bono as the Walrus was a little bit weird, but little interesting casting here and there, and it was way better than Sgt. Pepper.
Oh, yeah, true. We have a station here in town, speaking of Beatles, that every Sunday they play all Beatles all day practically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good Lord help me. Why? I'm not I'm just not that much of a Beatles fan. And about 3 songs in, I realized that, oh crap, I'm on that channel again, because I was fine until they started, it's like, oh crap. But anyway, I'm not that much of a Beatles fan.
Why, Patrick? Because they can and they make money hand over fist. That's why.
Beetlejuice. Yes, Beetlejuice the musical is a thing.
Yep. Like I said, Empire Records is on the way, which is it's actually going to be taking some of the no, I take exception with that on Hairspray Glams. I loved the movie. I loved the musical. Yeah, loved it. John Travolta was absolutely drop dead hilarious as Edna. Loved that movie.
That might have been the role he was destined to play.
Well, it had to be something besides that Battlefield Earth crap that he put out a few years earlier.
Oh God, yeah, that was horrible. That should have been a musical.
He'll never recover from that.
That should have been a musical. Would have helped it 110%.
Which is that? Which one?
Battlefield Earth. Should have been a musical. It should have been.
Oh God, Don, have you ever seen The Apple?
The Apple.
Yeah. This is another one of those movies we watched for masochistic March musicals.
I think I have, but it was like years ago, and I probably wiped it from my memory.
We have a friend who's the leader of the Boston Independent Film Group that we used to belong to, who utterly adores that film as a piece of cinematic crap. And it's just like, are you serious? You can sit through this more than once, Michael? No. Oh God. No.
No. Oh, Glams.
Like I can't stand sitting through a bad disaster movie either. It's got to be exciting and fun, or I just can't handle it. And like even the worst disaster movie, if it's campy and silly, I will watch over and over again because I'm a big disaster movie junkie. Avalanche with Rock Hudson, hilarious from beginning to end. It's just so over the top
Towering
bad.
Inferno kind of stuff, huh?
Hmm?
Towering Inferno. But you can
Yeah.
probably name the musical, or you can name the song from those, right? So, like,
You can
obviously,
name,
Poseidon Adventure was Morning After, right?
yeah.
What was the song from
Towering Inferno was We May Never Love Like This Again,
See?
also by Marie McGovern, also an Academy Award nominee.
So was it the movie that made was it the movie that made the song good, or was it the song that makes you remember the movie? I mean, what is it? There's kind of a twist there.
Well, here's a good example. Those two movies are great examples. Both of them produced by Irwin Allen.
Yeah.
Poseidon Adventure, originally sung in the film by somebody who Carol Lindley was lip syncing to. It wasn't Marie McGovern. She recorded it almost 8 months after the film came out, and it became a monster hit.
Yeah.
She recorded the theme to Towering Inferno for the film, and it wasn't a hit at all. So it's just like all depends on the circumstance, you know.
Yeah.
I love a good title. That I always get a kick out of good songs that are nominated for Oscars, because sometimes I just like, we were both livid the one year when Crouching Tiger has a beautiful song called A Love Before Time, performed by Coco Lee, and they got beat at the Oscars by Randy Newman. I'm like, really?
Yeah, Randy Newman. God. Not the most beautiful voice in the world. A talent, mind you, but not the most beautiful.
Oh, yeah, it was a great song, but it was from Wonder Boys, which wasn't even that big of a hit. And I'm like, oh, man. Okay.
You see, Michael's Battlefield should have been from the dog's perspective. I have a tendency to agree with you on that one. Oh, my God. John Travolta looked too weird in Hairspray.
Divine was good, too. I've seen the original film, too, and the Divine was good, but I loved Travolta. I thought he was hilarious. The one person I've seen in the Edna makeup that scared the hell out of me was Bruce Valanche. Bruce Valanche did it on Broadway and in Los Angeles. He played Edna. And I'm like, oh my, I've never seen him without a beard, for one thing. He has a big bushy beard when he was on Hollywood Squares all the time.
Yeah.
I'd never seen him that way before. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's a little weird.
That would be a weird one. I knew there was another one I was forgetting. Dirty
No
Dancing.
no weirder than Joan Jett playing Riff Raff from the Rocky Horror Show during the revival. So that was interesting. Yeah.
Wow, I'd love to see that. or not, depending. But yes, I like Rocky Horror. So yes, remaking. I agree with the whole. Don't remake Footloose and don't remake Dirty Dancing, please. Please don't.
Well, they've tried to redo Dirty Dancing so many times. They did a TV series, which stunk. They did, sequels and all these other things, and it's just like, why bother? True. That's the thing I hate about Hollywood. They have to have a sequel for anything that succeeds. Yeah, sometimes it's not that. We were worried about Mamma Mia, Here You Go Again, and Kim ended up liking it even better than the first one, and we both loved the first one. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Go. Special shout out to Mermaid soundtrack. I agree with Cher. That was a good one.
Michael.
I'm not a fan of Divine. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. I'm not a fan of Divine. Just
Divine's an acquired taste. I think he was fantastic.
Truly.
Absolutely fantastic.
Proof
Muppets can do musicals. You naughty boy down there.
John, Jesus Christ Superstar. I have not seen that one either.
No, but was that from the TV remake? That wasn't it? I don't remember. I haven't watched any of those, actually. I know they've done a ton of them in the last few years, and I was going to watch the Rent one, and then I didn't get around to it. So.
Oh, Alice Cooper played Herod. I really need to check that out. Resident Evil the musical. Thank you, Patrick. Yes. We need that.
Oh, well, actually, though, didn't
Mila ideas though? They'll do it.
Didn't Mila Jovovich star in those movies?
The film, Evil? Yes.
She had a couple albums out in the 90s. She could, bring her back, let her do the music, whatever.
I haven't watched. I've heard good and bad about this series. It's on Netflix or whatever. Resident Evil. I have to watch it. I've watched one episode. I know, right? It's like, no, don't do it. Pushing girls. Fine, sorry. Don't have time to watch all these musicals. I had a video store. I watched a lot of movies when I was working. There you go.
I think the best thing when it comes to scores right now is that Howard Shore has come back for the Lord of the Rings series for Amazon. He's doing part of the scores for it, and the
Oh,
preview that was released at Comic-Con over the weekend is scary good. It was like, this is actually up there quality with Peter Jackson stuff, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with it.
should be. Should be. What is this? There you go. You a friend of Tracy Lords?
Well,
I'm
yeah,
not.
she did.
Yeah.
So, and Paris Hilton had an album in the 20
Nightmare on Elm Street's a musical.
in the Audis.
No, actually, I think they've done everything they could do with Nightmare just by Stranger Things. That was your musical version of that. I'm sorry, that's all you're getting.
I'm surprised they haven't done one either. They have a cast that is known for their music, and they've not taken advantage of it. Finn Wolfhard has a band. Gaten Matarazzo is on Broadway, and Evan Hansen right now. Joe Keery has a ton of success as a DJ. I'm surprised they haven't put together.
Once the last season's over, they may do the musical. You never know.
Yeah.
Resident Evil show is garbage, says Michael. I'm beginning to think so.
Halloween the musical for Michael solo cute, Patrick.
So, I don't know if you watch Netflix. You watch Netflix, and if you don't watch, if you do watch Netflix or watch YouTube anyway, you should be watching Queens Who Like to Watch, which is Trixie Mattel and Katya doing like watching Netflix shows and talking about them and riffing off them. They made them do the Resident Evil show, which makes me think they're pushing this sucker, this pile of whatever that they need to get people to watch. So after I saw Trixie and Katya critique it, I'm like, I'm done. Nope, not gonna happen. Anyway, oh my god, Halloween the musical. Wait for Michael's. Oh yeah, there you go. Michael Myers solo. I can't wait for that. I want him to pull off his mask and be actually like Michael Myers. That would be fun. That would be.
Take care, Patrick. Stay awesome.
Patrick. Gotta go. Yeah, we gotta go too. Now I'm looking at it, dude. Take care. Something like the Goonies or Gremlins or E.T. next. Watch and see. Of course they will. Of course they will. All right. Bye, Patrick. See you, sweetie. Okay. Card Shop Reality's here. Hey, dude. Thanks for coming in. Thank you. I think we're going to have to go because it's time.
Yes, it is.
Appreciate everybody for coming in. I would love to see some comments on the video once it posts to let us know what you want to talk about. What do you think of today's topic, which was
all over the road,
all over the place,
Mo-Fi Gate and other stuff.
Yeah, Mo-Fi and musicals. There you go, Mo-Fi musicals. Let us know what you think of things. Let us know how you're doing. If you want, is it a topic you want us to cover? If you've got some questions, please put them in the chat. TC, you want to tell them what you're up to?
After one quick thing, MKT has a good comment up there. Unsung. One of the best shows on the net right now. It used to be on BET, I think. They had a great special on Stacey Ladislaw a few weeks ago. Fantastic show. I have a whole bunch of stuff going on. You can catch my stuff, Influencers on Tuesday, Rank This on Thursday, the Kirkham Report on Saturday, the Pop Retro Countdown on Sunday, and Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, you can watch TC's Obscuria Vaults. And this show every Monday.
Right. And guys, please check them out and go to TC's channel, which should be listed in the more about underneath this, because TC does some really great, has great production value, does really cool stuff. So please go check out. He's the hardest working man I know when it comes to music. This guy right here.
Thank you.
And other things. So yeah, please go check that out. Mary and I will be on. You guys
are the hardest working ladies in reselling. I mean, you're on every single show. What the hell? You turn the channel on any day. It's Dawn and Mary from Two Hip Chicks.
I'm beginning to think it's a Dawn and Mary show every day. So we are only on 4 times. We're Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon Eastern on our channel. It's a chick chat, so come and talk to us. We do more like this stuff. This is kind of what we're doing, only not necessarily all music related. And then
and Mary's actually there, not halfway across the country like me.
So you get to enjoy Mary's company as well as mine.
Yeah.
And then Mondays we're on early with Mel and Bemos, when Bemos feels good. She didn't feel good today. Doing the Death Pile clearance at 1 o'clock Eastern time. We were on today. It was great. This show comes back in 2 weeks on TC's channel next time, so check it out there.
Yep.
And then Wednesday, we're on with Johnny doing the Hump Day auction with that cast of wacky characters. And we're doing the sing-along stuff and the 45s and the much selling of things. So there you go. So everybody, we appreciate you coming in. TC, thank you for coming on over to my channel. I will be checking you out on your channel in 2 weeks.
Thank you. And if you haven't come over to my channel and subscribed, please do. I'm running a contest right now, trying to get my subscriptions up. And thanks to Dawn and Mary's little rally last Tuesday, I got over 200. And thanks to some other great people, I'm now over 300 and still climbing. So come over, enter my contest, make a video about 10 obscure records you have, and you could win all kinds of cool prizes.
Who could ask for anything more? Thanks, guys. Peace out. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
You hip kicks.